Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome along to the Rovers Rant podcast, where we discuss everything red and white, everything Robins related, and much else fitfully besides in the rugby league world. You'll spot that I'm in a different location, and I will leave you to speculate as to why. But I am here, of course, following Hulkington Rovers' 26 points to 20 defeat in Perpignan. We've been beaten by the Black Berets and the Onion Medallions and the Striper Shirts and the Parisian mime artists, the Sen mime artists. There's a lot of performative outrage in this space, isn't there? There are a lot of fake freaks, a lot of people who widen their eyes and show their teeth and flap about like a mother on Christmas Day. And you sense all the time that they're not actually that disappointed whenever Bournemouth get pelted by Portsmouth, or when Red Rum loses the derby, or whatever. And yet, this is earnest sickness that you see in my eyes today. That was a sickener. Last night, there are very many conclusions to draw, very many parties to blame, and very many narratives to etch out, I suppose. And we may as well get on with it. But macroscopically, from 1,000 feet in the air as the crow flies, it may be slightly hyperbolic to say that Hulkington Rovers are in crisis, but we are suffering from a dearth of belief, suffering from a dearth of hope, and we are crying out for a home game, okay? It's been, I don't know, I've not seen the statistics, but I should think it's been a good 100 English days since last we trotted into the turnstiles of Seoul Group Craven Park, and we could do with that, to be honest, I think. But yeah, where to begin? It was a very, very good, or a pretty good start, I suppose. And Tyrone May scores in his dressing gown, as he usually does, completely untouched through the middle of the pitch. You can just imagine him with a half-eaten slice of toast and a three-quarter full black coffee in his hand. He ambles about as if always sort of numbed out of consciousness, very, very casually strolls in. And I thought anyway, that we were due 3, 4, 5 more tries, and that we might whip the Dragons way out of contention by 40 minutes. And that didn't happen, unfortunately. And we need to have a word on, I've mentioned this before, but we need to have a word collectively with the referees on being off the mark, and why so very many markers are not square this season, why so many offside penalties are blown for. And that's because nearly every ball carrier, thrilled with the momentum from landing on their fronts, thinks it's legal and okay to march on after the referee is called held, okay? Once you've called held, it is an offence. I don't know who needs to be told this. Jack Smith, Liam Rush, Tom Grant, Chris Kendall. It is an offence once you are held. It is an offence once you have been tackled to march 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 steps forward, okay? That's the reason that so many people are offside. That's the reason that we're hearing so many whistles blown, is because rucks are messy, because the ball carrier is actually moving 3 yards northwards after he has been called held, after he has been brought down and after he has been tackled. So that's why there are 37 penalties per match. That's why the game is quicker, and that's why no momentum can be built, and that's why any advantage that is earned by any particular team is so easily wrested by the opposition. W-R-E-S-T-E-D. Rovers concede. We concede just 2, again, sickening tries. There's one sort of brought about by Lewis Dodd. Again, a bit of arm tackling. It was as if Ben Crooks and Chris Wellham and Josh Montalto were on the scene again. We were back in 2016 where we're tackling phantoms rather than registered players. And, you know, Lewis Dodd thinks on his feet. There's a bit of a knock on, and he passes it to some Frenchman, some Jobsworth Australian, some fucker for Catalans. I cannot even be asked to spout their names or research the try scorers. They score under the post, and then And then Peter Hiku simply decides not to tackle on the left-hand side for the second try, and then they kick a penalty just before the break to make it 14-6. And then for most of the second half, we were second best again. Just ridiculous offloads. The Lewis to Gildart to Burgess trammel, that motorway through which, or on which, across which we scored so many points last year, simply was not working. Oliver Gildart and Joe Burgess looked, as they have done in nearly every round this season, as if they'd had 17 beers the night before. They looked groggy, they looked ungainly, they didn't look as if they could catch the proverbial disease, and thus it was so. And it only took a little bit of slices of individual brilliance. We finally get it together down the left-hand side. Burgess skins the fullback. Is it Charlie Staines? That's his name, isn't it? Burgess skins the fullback. We kick the goal, and then we basically go right down the pitch again. Tyrone May, who is the best halfback in the team, by the way. I know that only one of the starting halfbacks has ever won the Steve Prescott Man of Steel Award, but Tyrone May is officially and inarguably now better than Mikey Lewis. Tyrone May prods one through for Tom Amone, and then all of a sudden, they're under the post. Mikey Lewis is kicking the goal. We're within 2 points. Then we get down there. Jez Litton looks certain to score. He is then clotheslined. We take the 2. It's 20 apiece. And all of a sudden, I am, like the Pink Panther, strolling about my living room, yearning for a last-minute victory. Because those are the sweetest type. I'm thinking more of round 9 last season when we were away to Leeds, when we were paggered for 65, 70 minutes, when Suaso Su was marched off the pitch with a red card. Again, 2 bits from Lewis and from Broadbent on the left-hand side, sealed as an undeserved victory. When you don't earn 2 points and yet still receive them, you are sort of you're gleeful in your villainy, and I thought that was going to happen. We didn't deserve to win yesterday, and yet the 2 points were there for us. Jack Broadbent catches the ball and swaggers through the team, and if he takes the tackle, we then have 4 or 5 repeat efforts from the 20 or the 10, and the odds are that we plant the ball down, obviously, and then all we have to do is defend a Catalan set, and we have the 2 points, undeservedly. But that didn't happen. Broadbent attempts a fanciful circus-like offload. It doesn't go well, and they smoke us down their own left side because Hiku and Davis once more decided not to tackle. That was really, really hard. There is not enough alcohol in any particular parlour of Britain that had enough for me last night. That was really not good, and there was a pit in my stomach, and there is still, mostly because my other team, Chelsea Association Football Club, are also in the toilet. They are also in the doldrums, in the dregs, all I can do is moan on the internet. It was. So frustrating. It was as painful as the 2023 Challenge Cup final, as painful as the 2024 Grand Final, as painful, I am sure, as the left to right try in the playoffs qualifier of 2025 at Saints versus Leeds. I'm sure the feelings that I'm feeling now are similar to that of Harry Newman and Jack Sinfield and Jake Connor. But anyway, it's a game of fine margins, and a few fewer knock-ons, and a little better tackling or whatever, and heaven forbid a fucking home match, and Rovers might have done it. But we've been seared by the schedule, and we have been sort of hoisted by our own petard. You're not allowed to be defensively dominant anymore, as I've said a few times. We counted last year an awful lot on putting people's faces in the dirt, laying on for half a second more than is officially required, and that simply has been struck out of the game. As soon as we were given our little trophies, and as soon as we were handed our little, as soon as we were thrown our mackerel in 2025 with a gorgeous treble, that was legislated out of the game. So there we go. I don't really know what more you want me to say. I'm going to take a small sip of water. A few honourable mentions. Jez Litton is, of course, the best player in the Super League, and Tom Amone is going to be our smartest signing. I think he probably made the most with ball in hand, next to Chris Satai, another black and white bastard doing it against Rovers. But yeah, obviously, I feel for those who trekked over to a foreign country. And again, the temptation is to put it all on Jack Broadbent, but that's not right because, Peter Hickey missed a fair few tackles and Dean Hadley laid on rather too much, or at least rather too much for this new iteration of rulebook. And so, yeah, we win together and we lose together. Just another word on the short-term supporters, those who've jumped on the bus since 2024. That is the door. If all of a sudden you are going to give up on Rovers this early, if you've only been here since 2024, there is the door. All right. If you're looking for wholesale negativity, if you're already looking to sack the club and to send Willie Peters packing, there is the door. Okay. I don't really have time for that impatience. Truth will out. We will get it together at some point. If only we can stay in this country for a short while. If only we can have a few consecutive home games, then I think we'll be able to ice a few more points and we'll be 6th or 7th, 5th or 6th, 4th or 5th come August. But there we go. Obviously, my mood is subterranean this morning, I'm left to huff and puff because Chelsea lost 3-0 at Everton yesterday as well, which, of course, did nothing to disaggregate my mood. So there we go. I've done 11 minutes, which is jolly enough, given how frightfully nauseous and nauseating that performance was. I will, as per usual, thank you ever so much for watching, and court your comments down below. Where do we go from here? How do we yet again raise our heads? I suppose if the Leeds Rhinos go and do a job on Hull FC at the MKM Stadium, that will help us all no end. That will soothe us all. That will be a Pyrrhic victory of a Sunday. So there we go. Thank you ever so much for watching YouTube. I'll rugby tube, whatever the hell it might be termed. I'll see you in another video, and maybe tomorrow, if indeed, as I say, Connor and Sivo and if Brad Arthur's boys can run rampant in West Hull. So there we go, 12 minutes, and I'll thank you ever so much for watching. Jesus Christ, I'll go and put a few more hands through my hair and gasp a few more times and promise to see you in another one.